Hokey pokey. Oh. Okay, I'm going live on Facebook and YouTube. Just want to make sure everything is working. There we go. All right, all right. So today we're talking about 2 ways you can tell if you are coming from intuition or fear. And comment below if you're coming in and you just saying hello, I'm here, and where you're tuning in from, whether it be from my side of the town, the west side of America, Los Angeles, California, or if you're in San Francisco, Oregon, wherever that may be, or if you're all the way in the East Coast in New York, or if you're in a whole different country. I know a lot of people, Germany, Australia, India, everywhere. So yeah, tune in. If you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. And it's just always great to see. Okay, so that being said, I was thinking a lot about intuition and how do we know when it's our own baggage, our own stuff, or if it's intuition that's pulling us. And so I had a personal aha moment, and so I wanted to share out loud, and hopefully it'll help people, because when it comes to intuition and pulling you forward, we all have a path in life where we're moving forward, and wherever we're moving forward, we have decisions that we make, and those decisions define us as a human being and how we appear in the world, whether that be a confident, healthy, happy person or a person full of regret and anguish. And obviously you want to go towards the happy and healthy and confident person. And in order to do that, we have to really be in tune with ourselves and be satisfied with whatever decision we make and the best decision we can make at that time. So that being said, I wanted to talk about one way, which is the fear versus love. And I think that's the most obvious one. And then another way that I really discovered recently, and I think it'll help a lot of people if this is something you're struggling with. So one way is to identify whether it's from fear or love. This is fairly easy, in my opinion, because you know that you're either motivated by a fear of some sort of outcome, whether that be avoiding a negative outcome or something's pushing you out of fear that you're going to lose something, and that's motivating you to do a particular action. So whether that be you're staying at your current job because you're afraid that you're not going to have income coming in, so that's a fear-based decision. And then love, on the other hand, is hope, abundance, vision. So you're doing something out of a clear, positive future. You're going towards that. And so that's out of love. And so when we talk about fear and love, we can easily sit with ourselves and say, is this something that it feels physically that I'm expanding or contracting? Expanding being love and abundance, and contracting being that fear state, the avoidance state, the I don't want to get hurt state. And this is something that Tony Robbins has taught. So I would look it up with Tony Robbins. I'm no Tony Robbins experts, but what he did was put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, breathe in and out for 10 seconds, and then think about that one thing. And then either you feel your body contracting, and that's fear, or expanding, and that's love. So joyous, abundance is the love, and contracting is fear. Now, that being said, I don't think that we should always be motivated by love. Sometimes being motivated by fear can really push you forward. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about decision making, I think when we make a particular decision, you're going to regret it less if it's out of love. Hey, Adam, listen up, guys. She knows what she's talking about. Truth. Yes, Adam. Yes, Adam. Anyway, so that's one way that I discovered through Tony Robbins that you can do very easily, very fast. Even at that point, sometimes we're feeling but I'm not quite sure. I don't even know. I don't even think it's love or fear. And sometimes we have that where we're a little bit just unsure and there's all these types of thoughts going on, perhaps even emotions going on. And so the second way that I found was very helpful was to simply go into, okay, how emotionally triggered am I of this particular thing? And how much of me is almost neutral, almost Switzerland. I almost have no emotional attachment towards. And then think about that one thing and which one is it? Is it you're very triggered emotionally or you're very neutral about it? Because what I found is when I make a decision that is not emotion based, which is in my head, something's being triggered. You have some sort of trauma. And when I say trauma, it's not something that's traumatic, but something happened in your past that you associated with your emotion. And so now your emotion is feeling fear or angry or whatever it may be. But feelings is not facts, or feelings are not facts. And that's something I recently learned where it doesn't matter how you feel about the situation, it doesn't make it the truth. And so emotions are very dangerous in that way because it's going to appear as facts. It's going to appear as something real and something true. And so I like it when I could get in the state of emotionlessness and not avoidant of emotions, but just looking at it at a prefrontal cortex logical level. And when we do that, the path seems to become very, very clear. Now, how in which you do that is there's different types of ways, but I was listening to, or I was watching an interview that Tom Bilyeu recently did with a doctor. I can link that in my YouTube video below afterwards on Facebook. But essentially how you can hack this is to be in motion. When I say be in motion, walking. I walk every morning. There's a reason why the wise and old folks in your life, perhaps, they have been walking, taking walks, taking strolls, whatever you want to call it, because that actually accesses your prefrontal cortex. When you think about a problem and you're walking at the same time, your eyes movement actually goes side to side, so right and left. It's the one of the few times that you actually do that with your eyes is when you're in motion forward. So whether you're running or walking, but as long as you're moving forward or driving, your eyes actually go side to side in order to orient itself. And the only way your body knows it's moving forward is when your eyes actually go side to side. And when that happens, you're in this state of you're moving forward and you're, for some reason, you can access your prefrontal cortex. Again, you can watch that interview to know the details of this. That being said, you can access a state when you're not thinking and perceiving things out of your emotional states, but instead you're perceiving things at a more logical states, because again, you're accessing the part of your brain that is the modern human part of your brain that's in logic. And when you're in that state, that's when we have to think about whatever decision that we're making. And you can think about it as logical choice, or I like to think about it as an intuitive choice, because there might be something that is pulling you towards one way or the other. And it might not necessarily make logical sense why, but it's not an emotional pull. It's not, oh my gosh, but I'm so excited about this, or oh my gosh, I'm so fearful of this and I just really want to avoid it. It's not even coming from that state. It's coming from, no, I understand both sides. I get it. But for some reason, this is pulling me. And that to me is intuition. That to me is your gut feeling. And if you guys don't know, and you could search it up, but your gut has your gut is like a second brain. It has neurotransmitters that happens just like your brain does. So dopamine, serotonin, all of that stuff, your gut actually produces neurotransmitters. So it's almost like a second brain, but that's why people say gut feeling, intuitive feeling. It's a second brain that you can't be logical about. It's not coming from awareness, but also it's not an emotional state, right? Like in your brain of your old human brain of accessing your emotion, the fear, the love, all of that. So it's a very different part of your body. And so I find walking thinking about whatever decision that you're trying to make, and then going from a place of not avoiding emotions, but lack of emotion, and accessing your prefrontal cortex and just thinking what pulls me more. And to me, that is your intuition, that is your gut feeling. And that's what oftentimes I look back and when I made those decisions, I'm so satisfied. At the time, it made no sense. And people would tell me, Tina, what are you doing? That's not a necessarily good decision. But I don't regret any of those decisions. I've always been fully satisfied with them. Whether it turned out good or bad, it just feels good. And ultimately I can die and feel good about it. But the decisions I've made out of an emotional state, those are the ones I have a little bit of regret over. Those are the ones I don't feel so good over. And so when we make especially very big life decisions on in our emotional state instead of our gut feeling and trying to access that, I think it's a higher chance that we're going to have deep regret over. So I want to make sure that I avoid being super regretful as much as possible because I am still young and I got decades and decades in front of me full of possibilities of possibly regretting certain decisions I made. And I want to make sure that I'm going to lessen that and therefore increase my happy state. So I don't want to ever wipe the smile off my face if at all possible. So that's something I like to preserve for myself. And that is the two different ways to tell if you're acting out of intuition. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for coming on. Oh, I didn't even see some of the chat. It didn't scroll up. Hi, Tina. Hi, Gideon. True, I always trust my gut. Yes. Yes. Hi, Lillian. What's going on? I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful weekend, everybody. Truly stay safe and be positive. And remember, raise your vibe.